Hi, welcome to 50 Plus Home and Gardening. Today we're going to work on something hard. I don't really like doing it too much, but February is a good time. It's a little chilly, and as you can see, I've got something that's going to warm me up a little bit. But here's some tools that I'm going to use for today. These are the smaller tools. I am going to go to a chainsaw and pole trimmers, but we are going to trim our trees. And the reason why we're going to trim our trees is because we don't want our trees to get so low that it's going to whack us in the eyes. So I want to have you guys, if you have any trees that aren't going straight up out of your way, to get them to be either clipped by lower branches in a small way. If they're a little bit bigger, you can do this. And if they're super tall, I have some poles. And if they're super thick and they haven't been trimmed in a long time and you just want that branch off, it would be chainsaw time. The first one I've come on is my Empire apple. And I just want to look and see if there's any branches that are crossing or too thick. So right here you can see this branch and this branch. If I just take these two out, you're going to give room for all these apples to kind of be able to breathe a little bit. So I'm just going to take this one off and this one off. All right, that's one. I do it just past this little wrinkly collar thing, just past it. That's how you take out a whole branch, and I also take off any little branches. Bing, gone. All right, so now I'm left with a lot of big ones. Now I can just look and see if there's any damages. Ooh, look, they're already swelling. They're gonna do their thing, but I'm gonna pick up the branches later because I have lots of work to do, but I would take off any of these so that I can expand the apples up to this whole branch. I don't really want extras because you're going to get more leaves and apples I don't really want now. Okay, that really looks good and spacious. I really like it. Here's my last apple, and there's quite a few branches on this, so I'm going to be, and crossing. So you see these two, they're touching and crossing. So you have to decide, do you want like a leader that's going straight up or on the side? I prefer the one on the side, and I usually take the ones that are straight up. Now I'm gonna come back and get this with some bigger clippers because this one is not gonna cut that. It's just a little too large. But let's get all the baby ones while we have this. And I think to make it a little wider, let's cut this one off. The one that's growing up a little taller than this. So kind of like it a little bit more outgoing. This is a peach, a lot more branching, and it's getting a lot taller. A standard. So I think I'm going to take, and I'm going to have to get some other loppers to do this, but I need to take that whole center out because that is making everything grow super tall, and I want things to grow out. So let's get these big loppers. All right, that peach tree looks a lot better, a lot more open. Anytime I cut something off, I left a node or a new growth going this way. And that's how I do it. And so each time it'll branch out even more. And I always cut off the leaders on the peaches because who wants to grab peaches from a high? So I may even block it down to here next year. So I'll see. It's getting kind of thick. So also we have a maple. This is an October Glory. And I want it to get pretty tall. So do you see how it forked lower? I don't really want that because these will get larger and fatter and they'll just be right in my way. So I'm going to take off one of those and leave a straighter leader and let it grow a little bit more up here past my head. I like trees that are above, like this whole oak. We have cut every branch that's low so it's not in our way to mow or get hit in the head. For smaller branches, you can use your clippers, hand clippers, but I'm going to use these giant loppers. I think they're Fiskars. They work really good for larger branches. And then I'm going to show you a different tool that I use for very tall branches that are in the trees. So let's take care of one of these on my maple. Now, the only tree I don't do in the wintertime is maples, but I'm going to try this. This stick is about a ½ inch. It's a baby. I did do this one time at another house, and it sapped for months. Because you know maples, they give their syrup in the wintertime, sap. And so if this just does that, I think that weakens the tree. I normally do large cuttings. I mean, you can take this, you can take that down. Now that probably wouldn't matter, but some of these bigger ones, if you find that one year you have sap, you're not killing it, but I wouldn't do it again. And I always cut my maples in the summer. They're the only tree that I don't get done in February or late January. Another way to take things down is chainsaw. So I've got my helper here who's going to chainsaw this. It's a fruit tree, pear tree, has never been chopped, but it's dead in the middle right here. We're just going to chop, I'll see, we're going to chop it right here. And we're going to chop this whole guy up because it's just, nobody gets the fruit from that because it's just too tall. Way up here. So let's do the chainsaw thing. Oh man. So this is what we took off. This will heal, and it is a fruit tree, so it'll just heal like these. Someone else took these off, maybe we did, I don't remember now. Looking back this way, we have a branch here, a little bit here, and a little bit there for some fruit for this year, and we can reevaluate it every year. But this is, I don't know, this could be 30 years old, 20, I don't know. Whatever it is super old, has not been worked on at all. It was completely dead where we took it off. Last year, it was dead in the middle. It wasn't even growing. So now maybe it'll produce better fruit. This crab apple needs to be cut right there. So I don't like that limb, so we're gonna cut it off. Okay, this is not the ideal because this is probably 25 years old, and that's why I like baby trees and you can control it as it's going, but I don't like last year I noticed that this had 3 trunks, major trunk, major trunk, major trunk, and then you end up with a saucer of water, and then that's where you can get disease. And this tree, this crabapple, has a lot of diseases, and usually woodpeckers like to get trees that are simple and kind of weak trees. So I'm not sure if crabapples are weak trees anyways, but look at this. Okay, they've done a number on this job, and I try to keep it now without suckers, which are straight up. Anything that's straight up in your tree can just be whacked off. Those are just water suckers. And you can fertilize your trees. I just like to water and see if it'll strengthen. You can see that someone took this one off. Maybe we did, I don't know, but you see how it knots itself over the wound. So even though this looks fresh and it will go away, and I'm excited that now this is going to be 2 trunks. Wouldn't be my favorite. I would have just done this one, but these are fine, and I will leave it because this one is straight up. As long as it's out of our face, out of our way of doing mowing, and no one like my husband, who is 6'1", will get knocked in the eye. As we get older, we can't see as well, and you may just knock yourself right into a tree that is low. I don't like any low hanging branches, so that would be the first thing. So this is done. Did a good job on the chainsaw. So that is another method to get bigger items. So hopefully you won't have to do too many of this if you have more baby trees that don't need all this maintenance. Try to look at these things in the summer to see what you need to do, and then you could do it all in one day, and write down the things that you've detected, and then you can get right on it in February. Jeffrey's bringing along pole pruners. All right, so I have 3 poles, and I have 2 little action. This one is for cutting little branches. This one's slightly more lethal, but I like it because it'll do the medium ones that maybe your chainsaw is too big for, and these pruner style right there that's too little. I have 3, I think they're 10-foot poles, so I'll probably have about 30 feet if I needed to go really tall to just get a little teeny branch. So now it's important to look at any crossing branches, and the first one is this one. Pretty easy. So now I'm going to evaluate it, and I think everything looks good, and I think we're done with this tree for this year. Every year you can do it again in next February. So let's go on to the next tree. Now look how nice this looks. Really pretty. I love the structure of it now. It's got one less branch that we took down. I think it's going to survive pretty well. I've got all the suckers out with this tool. Okay, we're doing this maple. Just getting a few branches out that are just so crowded. Yeah, crossing branch, the perfect. Happy Valentine's Day. So keep moving, keep gardening, and stay creative. And I'll see you next time.